and welcome to the Homemade Podcast Sports. This is your host, J Pops.
And welcome back to the Homemade Podcast of Sports with your host, J Pops. Guys, today's date is it's December 6th, 2020. We are officially a day removed from our win over Auburn University. That was a really big win for this Texas A&M football program. Yes, there's going to be a lot of people that comes on here and, oh man, a big win. Yes, guys, we have not won against those guys in, I believe, 3 years or 4 years. They won a 4-year run against us. So, yes, guys, like I said before, we got half of that Alabama monkey off of our back. What's crazy is that it was a guy that commented on the video that I put out yesterday. First of all, guys, I love you and I thank you guys for finally getting me to 300 subscribers. I'm a little bit over 300 now because it's a lot of people that is hitting the subscribe button now. So I thank you guys and I appreciate you guys for giving me that opportunity to be heard, man. I thank you guys for that. All I wanted was just a shot to be heard on what I was talking about with this Texas A&M football team, man. It was a long time in coming, and we needed to start getting mentioned, man. We needed to. This football team needs momentum. We already have the 12th man, so now that football team needs a 13th man. And hey, maybe I can come be 13th man. Texas A&M football athletic department, if you're listening, call me. The number is 832-229-2660. Call me. Anywho, I just had to throw that out there. Anywho, before I get further though, I do not own the rights to that CBS song that is on my intro. CBS Sports, if you guys are listening, I do not own the rights to it. I know. And hopefully we can make this thing go viral. CBS Sports, if you guys are listening, all I want to do is get you guys' attention. ESPN, if you're listening. SEC Network, if you're listening. I just want to grab you guys' attention. I know. I do not own the rights to that song though. It's one of my favorite songs though. I love the little intro music, and I had to use it. If you guys are listening, I don't own the rights to it. But if you guys are listening, please contact me for a job opportunity. I'm waiting. I'm available. Contact me, please. Contact me. All right? I said put that out there too. Anyways, guys, let's continue to keep going, okay? So we got that huge win. And back to what I was saying, it was a guy that actually came on there and he was like, got the Alabama monkey off your back. Like, really? You know, and this guy was upset. And he left the comment, and I clicked on there to, read the comment. I could not read it because I think he may have said something out of context that is in the actual YouTube guidelines of what you can do and what you cannot do. So I believe YouTube deleted it, or he just may have deleted it himself, or one of the fans, one of you guys may have came on there and deleted. I don't know, man. Maybe he hid it. I don't know, but I couldn't read it all the way. But he was saying some things, and obviously he's upset that A&M is where they're at right now. Just as well as a lot of guys are upset that A&M is at where they're at right now. Shout out to Kirk Herbstreit. Now he's kind of starting to jump on that train. And then I heard something from one of you guys that said Kirk had said the same thing about Texas A&M being a sleeping giant. He mentioned the same thing as well. So, I mean, guys, all we're waiting for is just this team to continue to get better. But we all knew that we had to be patient with the process of what Jimbo Fisher is trying to do. And I'm gonna get into that in a little bit here when I start talking about it. But a couple of shout outs. A huge shout out to this man here, Mr. Morris Carter. Mr. Morris, if you're listening, he's one of my biggest fans that comes on here, and he's also an Aggie alumni, the class of 72 maybe, or class of 1970. It's one of those. I'm not all the way dead on point with it, but he's in that 70s class somewhere. He's an alumni. Once again, his name is Chris Morris. A huge shout out to that guy. We had lunch just the other day on Friday, and we just basically sat there and talked about football the whole time, and of course some other things as well. But we basically sat there and talked about football, where the program is going, where was the program at first to where it is now. Like, man, we had an intelligent conversation between two huge fans of the football team and of Aggie sports, period. And man, that really meant something to me. Because he was looking for the same thing I was looking for. I'm just looking for somebody to chat with about Texas A&M football, you know. But huge shout out to him, man. I thank you for that luncheon, and we should be meeting up very soon once again to talk about some more things and keep on going. Also, shout out to Tex Ags Radio. That is a good radio station. Of course, all you Aggie fans listen to them daily, so you guys already knew about them and things of that nature. But shout out to those guys for coming up with some good content, man. I listened to those guys the other day, and that was my first time just really sitting down and listening to those guys. They had some really good content, man, and it sounded really good. So a huge shout out to those guys. Also, shout out to James Busby. Yes, sir, your shirt will be on the way. I'm so sorry that I couldn't get it to you faster, but your shirt will be on the way really soon, okay? He has a homemade podcast, a sports shirt coming. So I thank you for that, man. I thank you. And a huge shout out to you for being a true fan as well, man. I thank all of you guys, and I love you guys for getting me to almost 1,000 views on the last video that I put out. Did not know that was going to get up there to that many views like that. Now, to a lot of people, it may not mean anything, but to me, that means a whole lot, man, coming from where I started. Because when I started these videos, I had like 29 views for one video for 1 month, then 30 views for one video for 1 month. You know, so I came a really long way, and I thank you guys for almost getting me to 1,000 views with the South Carolina overreaction video. I thank you guys for that. It's at about 997 right now. So please continue to tell a friend. Let's make this thing go global. I want 1,000 views for each video now as we move forward, okay? So I thank you guys for a lot of that, man. A lot of that. Okay, so that's it. Let me quit rumbling off at the mouth and get to what we're going to discuss on this overreaction edition of the Homemade Podcast Sports. This Texas A&M football, people. So let's get into it. I'm feeling good. I don't know about you guys. I'm feeling good. When these guys went out there and beat Auburn on yesterday, that put my mindset in another direction of knowing that, yeah, this football team is for real. They're for real. The crazy part is that we're just getting started. We're just getting started. This football team is serious, okay? They're for real, and they have the mentality of going out there and being for real. Also, an update on Demond Demons. I know we didn't see him last game. I continue to say that we will see Demond Demons as soon as possible. This is breaking news in a huge update. And hopefully this is true. From that source there, I believe that it is true. On next week against Ole Miss at home, Demond Demons should be in that starting lineup. Okay? He should be in that starting lineup. He should. I hope it's true. I know a lot of us has been waiting on that. We've been waiting, and we're really patient with that. He should be starting, though, people. Just give it a little bit of time. You guys know Jimbo Fisher. He runs a complicated offense. Give him time. We'll get there. Okay? Anywho, let's keep on going. First off, guys, a huge shout out to Penn State for getting their 900 career win. Okay? Shout out to the Penn State Nittany Lions for getting that 900 career win. All right? That's a huge milestone for any sports program, period, out there. They got their 900 win, and they've now entered the 900 win ball club with the likes of Michigan, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Alabama, Texas, Notre Dame, and Nebraska. Those are all the guys up there with 900 career wins or 900 more, 900 plus career wins, man. Those guys have now reached that huge milestone that any football team would want, for that matter. All right, so they're in there now. Huge shout out to those guys. All right, anywho. So before we get into this, I want to talk about something really quickly, okay? So do you guys know why Jimbo Fisher wanted a 10-year deal? Do you guys know? I want you guys to sit back and think about that for a minute. Do you guys really know why he wanted that deal from the get-go? Well, if you guys didn't know, then this is why. Sit back, get you a little bit of popcorn, put your feet up, things of that nature. Get ready for this little movie in concept I'm going to put in you guys' head, all right? Number one, well, y'all know money was a legitimate factor because the deal was $75 million. And we'll forever hear that, and everybody around the world talks about this deal. The richest contract in college football history, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. If it's a richer contract than that, then please come to this podcast, comment on it, all right? But the deal was worth $75 million with $7.5 a year, $7.5 million a year. Okay, me personally, I don't like to talk about contracts. It's a lot of other people like to talk about it because they feel like if you're getting paid this much money, you should be winning something. You should be winning national title. All right. Anywho, hear me out. It's a 10-year deal. Number two, he wanted enough time to get the players he needed and also have a legitimate shot in a 5-year window to compete with the best, no matter the outcome. All right. Compete with the best, no matter the outcome. Number three, after that, then comes the on-field success and also a winning culture in which he's in year number 3, people. He's in year 3, and we're already starting to see it, okay? We're already starting to see it. Number 4, he wanted enough time to be able to compete with Alabama and LSU. Auburn, you can throw those guys in there as well as just the SEC West alone, but we all know who the two-headed monsters are in the SEC West. It's Alabama and LSU. We know this already. We know this. We all know this, okay? He wanted enough time to compete with them, all right? Number 5, enough time to consistently get to that number 2 spot in the West. He wanted enough time to get there. The thing about it is that you have to go through Alabama and LSU to get to that number 2 and let alone number 1 spot. But if you can at least consistently get to number 2, that means you're breaking into that Alabama and LSU stick together 1 and 2 spot that I call it. I can't think of another word right now, but now you're starting to creep in there. You're starting to come from out of being that outsider to creeping on in the inside of it. And if you can do it for a legitimate amount of years, you'll eventually get to number 1. Anyways, let's keep on going. Number 6, enough time to continue to be ranked in the top 10. Top 5 is hard. That's why I didn't put that on here. But if you can continuously be ranked in the top 10, that means you're doing something, all right? Number 7, enough years to just consistently build up the momentum and the roster to ultimately claim the number 1 spot in the West, a SEC championship, a playoff, okay, let me rephrase, an SEC championship berth, a SEC championship, a playoff berth, a national title appearance, and also a national title year. This is the reason why he wanted 10 years. Give him 10 years because it was going to take time. It was not going to come right off the bat. We've seen that with Kirby Smart. We've seen that with Ed Orgeron. But those are two different programs, okay? Those are two different programs, all right? On a whole nother scale in the SEC because they just been there. They've been there. We've only been in the SEC for, this is our 8th year now. That's what I continue to tell you guys. This is our 8th year. Y'all know that doesn't mean anything, but we're on the SEC West. Mizzou, they've been in there the same amount of time we've been here in the SEC, and they've won the East twice. That's the East. The East is the weaker part of the division, in my opinion. In my opinion. All right, and as well as others, the SEC East is a weaker part of the SEC. The West has always been hard as hell because you got two dominant programs that has been claiming the West for years. Two dominant ones. And Auburn gets in there every now and then. All right? So it's 3 programs on the SEC West that has all won a national title, man. All of them. So, I mean, damn. You know? But anywho, Jimbo Fisher is 23-10 at the moment. All right? So he's showing progression and he's showing what this team could be, and he's showing what his value is going forward in the years to come. All right. This, my friend, this, my friend, was what I meant when I said a sleeping giant. And I thank you guys for taking the time to look at that video, Sleeping Giant. A lot of you guys liked it. A lot of you guys didn't like it. I know that. I understand that. A lot of you guys don't believe it, but now a lot of you guys are starting to gradually believe it, like, yeah, you might be right. You know, but anywho, but this is what I meant when I said the sleeping giant. As of right now, Texas A&M football all-time record is the football record. Texas A&M football all-time record is 751 wins. I believe it may be a little bit more, but 751 wins. 487 losses, 48 ties, which gives them a .603 win percentage. All right, we're nowhere near below 500. All right, we're a little bit above 600. That's fine. That's cool. All right, with 3 national titles, that of course came in 1919. A lot of you guys laughing. I can hear you guys laughing right now. 1919, 1927, and 1939. That's why I said we've been asleep for almost 100 years. All right. Anywho, so this is our rankings for the guys that didn't know. And I know a lot of you guys did not know this. So this is our rankings in all-time team wins. Number 24. We're number 24. For the guys that did not know that, well, now you guys know. We're number 24. This is what I meant by sleeping giant. All right. We're number 24. So this is no comparison by all means when I say this, but I want you guys to hear me out here because Clemson and Florida, and I know you guys hear me talk about Clemson a lot, stuff like that, but now I'm talking about Clemson and Florida. Florida Gator fans, where you at? Shout out to you guys. They've now won the SEC East. Shout out to the Florida Gators for winning the SEC East. And this is coming from a Texas A&M fan, and this is coming from us Aggies all around. Shout out to you guys. Dan Mullen, that guy's been working hard as hell ever since he's been in Mississippi State. He now gets his chance to compete on the biggest stage as a head coach. Not as an assistant coach, as a head coach. Shout out to him. You made it. SEC East champions. Anywho, but this is no comparison here. You know, because Clemson and Florida were both sleeping giants at one point. All right? They were both sleeping giants at one point. Clemson all-time winning record is 758. I'm pretty sure it's a little bit more now. 460 losses, 45 ties, which is ranked number 20. All right? In which they also have 3 national titles now. They have 3. Florida Gators all-time wins is 735, which I believe is a little bit more now. It's crazy to think Florida is under Texas A&M with all-time wins, right? 735 wins, 420 losses, 40 ties, which is ranked number 28. All right, they're ranked number 28. There's a couple other teams that are sleeping giants as well. You know, and Georgia is one of them. Tennessee is another. They have the assets and stuff like Tennessee is another. But we're not going to get into all that. All right, we're not going to get into all of that. But this is what I meant by sleeping giant. Okay, we are a sleeping giant that's just sleep. As of right now, we got one eye open. You know, you ever seen the guys wake up with one eye open, stuff like this, like I'm almost up. You know, stuff like that, things of that nature. That's what we are right now. That is what we are. We have to start somewhere, okay? So that is what we are at the moment. We're getting there. Aggie fans, just be patient and wait, baby. We're getting there, all right? Anywho, you know, let's get into some of the game, all right? So the game was won on yesterday by a score of 31-20 with a 17-0 run in the fourth quarter alone, all right? We were behind for most of the game, but what did I tell you guys when you are in the top five, when you are a top 5 or top 10 team? There will be a huge target on your back each and every game. Each and every game. All right? So A&M did what a top 5 team had to do. Although, A&M did what a top 5 team had to do, though, which was come back and win the game. All right? Now, A&M dominated most of that game offensively, and the defense stepped up when needed. All right? We dominated that game offensively. We dominated most of that game, period. The scoreboard just didn't show for it. You know, we left a lot of points on that field last Saturday. But the most important part about that is that we got the win. All right, now if we didn't win, I'll be coming here to this podcast and I'll be talking about a couple of things. All right? But the most important part as of right now is that we got the win. All right, we got the win. Also, Bo Nix was 10-1 at home. Bo Nix is now 10-2 at home, thanks to Texas A&M. We finally beat him. Shout out to Bo Nix, though, because that young man is a magician. Does he still have a lot to work on? Yeah, man, but what I seen yesterday, that wasn't Chad Morris calling those plays, people. If it's anybody that's coming to this podcast and saying that was Chad Morris calling the plays, that is a darn lie. I'm talking to all the Auburn fans right now. That was not Chad Morris. That was all Gus Malzahn. I know a Gus Malzahn playbook when I see it. And that was all Gus calling that offensive plays. That team had over 200 rushing yards on us, in which it hadn't been a team period that has put up 200 plus rushing yards, let alone over 100 on us in a while. Okay? In a while. That was that was Gus Malzahn himself calling those damn plays, in which it was just dink and dunk passing and a whole lot of motion running. Whole lot of motion running plays. That's Gus Malzahn, people. That ain't Chad Morris. That's Gus. That's all Gus. All right? But anywho, we finally got the win against him. We beat him. Gus, I think, in his mind, he had been wanting to beat Jimbo Fisher because he still wanted revenge for that 2013 National Championship game. I know that for sure. So, Jimbo broke it. You ain't winning against us anymore. And I'm going to tell you like this here, and this is a bold statement, but Auburn will not win against us for a very long time now. All right? They won't. Anywho, let's keep going, people. Let's keep rolling here. Let's keep rolling. All right, let's keep rolling. Kellen Mond had a decent day with 196 yards, 2 touchdowns in the air, okay? 1 touchdown on the ground with, I think, about 40 rushing yards and 1 touchdown. Isaiah Spiller in A-Chain were a running monster, Okay, as they both combined for about 219 yards rush. Isaiah Spiller with 120 on the day. Devon A. Chain, 99 rushing yards. I told you guys once, man, say, look here, man. I love those little youngsters, man. I love those kids. I told you guys. This is why I follow the recruit. I seen Devin the Chain. Hell, I seen him in that 6A. I believe it was 6A when he came from Fort Bend in that high school title game. You know, they wasn't able to come out with the win. I don't believe they came out with the win. It was the other school that came out with the win. But that guy was a monster in that game. What you guys think he was going to do when he got to College Station? I understand that high school and college is two totally different levels. But man, look here, man. These guys that Jimbo Fisher has recruited, and shout out to that whole recruiting staff at Texas A&M football. Period. You guys are killing it. They're killing it, man. But I knew something was special about that guy when they went and got him. I knew that when he came to A&M that he was going to be the same guy. Wasn't anything going to change. The only thing we're missing as of right now, and it's a lot of teams that know this, but Jimbo Fisher is such a dynamic offensive guru, and Daryl Dickey as well. You know, I always say Daryl Dickey because I want guys to know that Jimbo Fisher has an offense coordinator, people. All right? Daryl Dickey does call plays, people. Please do not shut that guy out in the cold. But anywho, they run a balanced offense. Now it's starting to be a up-tempo balanced offense. That isn't seen around college football. We're doing something totally different from what anybody else is doing offensively, okay? Only thing about it is that Kellen Mond, he's not a sporadic quarterback. I think that's the word for it, sporadic. Gene Chizik talking to you. He's not a sporadic quarterback by all means. He may not have good games every game. But when he does have a good game, Kellen Mond is unstoppable. You know, you cannot ask him to throw for 300 to 400 yards like Kyle Trask and Mac Jones is doing. All right? If you ever looked at Florida does not run a balanced offense. Have no run game, none whatsoever. In his SEC championship game, now they better get that figured out, but we ain't going to talk about that. You know, that doesn't have anything to do with this. But right now, man, Jimbo Fisher has one of the most dynamic, balanced offenses ever seen in college football that's going up-tempo. All right? We're going basically up-tempo, but at the same time, we're a balanced up-tempo team that nobody has ever seen. Also, we're still dominating the line of scrimmage, and we're dominating the time of possession still while going up-tempo. The thing about it is that we'll go up-tempo, but we won't snap that ball until it gets to about like 4 or 5 seconds on our clock left, or maybe 2 at sometimes. But we're taking time off the clock and just gradually picking up 10-yard plays. Boom. What we seen on yesterday was the third down offense come back to being itself. I told you guys in that LSU game, that was a bad weather type of game, but also I think those guys had just been out for so long to where it ultimately caught up to them. All right. So anywho, we played a good game. Overall, we did really good with about 509 total offensive yards. Believe it or not, we had 509 total offensive yards. So a lot of good things I like, a lot of bad things. The thing about it is that we don't have no legitimate threat at wide receiver. Jamon Osman, if you are listening, young man, and you have not gone into that NFL, draft yet, because I know you say you're opting out, getting ready for the NFL draft and things like that nature. So I don't know if this affects this or not. But if you're deciding to opt back in, young man, come on back. We would love to have you on that field, and we would love to see you on that field play with Kellen Mond just one more time. One more time, man. One more time. We have playmakers at wide receiver, but because those guys are so young to me, and Hezekiah Jones, Hezekiah Jones, he's a junior, don't get me wrong, but he missed a legitimate amount of time to where it has caught up with him as well, and that's why he's kind of looking like he's looking. He has to get back in that full season rhythm. He hadn't been back but number like what 3 games, but he's getting there. He's getting there. But is he a threat by all means? No, he's not. But that's fine because they have the playbook to balance those guys and make them fit in every scheme possible in every which way. All right, so that's what I love about Jimbo Fisher's offense. All right, so that's fine. But Jamon Osmond, if you're listening, man, come on back. Come on back, man. Because this team needs you. They need you. They want that legitimate threat. Watermeyer is a legitimate threat, but at the same time, if Watermeyer is double covered, you know what? Chase Lane could be a legitimate threat. He can. Chase Lane could be a legitimate threat. It's just a separation that we have from our wide receivers. We don't have that much because these guys are still learning how to separate as well. You know, they're still just they're primarily learning how to separate. They'll get better over time. But I know Jamon Osmond, by his experience, because he's a senior, Kellen Mond's a senior. Jamon Osmond knows how to separate. All right, so this is the reason why I want him to come back. If he's thinking about it. If he doesn't come back, that's fine. We'll still go out 9-1 and get to that ultimate New Year's Six bowl game and go out with a bang. All right, impressing the committee. And guys, we need to stop this. Oh, well, we need to impress the committee. It's nobody saying that they need to impress the committee, but the media. This is all media talk. Jimbo Fisher doesn't give a flip about impressing the committee. He said it himself on his interview. I'm not worried about that. You know, I'll let you guys worry about that. Right now, I just want to focus on winning. That's what we're just ultimately trying to do. And I believe in it. Just let them win, for crying out loud. Who gives a shit about the committee, man? I don't care about impressing the committee right now. We just want to win. We just want to win. Because we haven't been winning in a long time at the level that we're at now. We just want to win. All right? But anywho, let's keep going. Let's kind of talk about some stats here, and then we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. All right? Kellen Mond, 18, 5, 23. Like I said, 196, 2 touchdowns. Isaiah Spiller, 20 carries, 120, 0 touchdowns, 6 yards in average, though. Devin Achane, 9 for 99, 11 yards a pop. I told you that young man was speedy. You cannot catch him because his elusiveness is out of this world. He breaks tackles like no other. And once he breaks that tackle and gets to the next level and he breaks that tackle, he's going to the house, baby. That's it. 9 touches, 99 yards, 0 touchdowns. Kellen Mond, 10 for 60. I said 40, no. Kellen Mond was 10 for 60. 6 yards a pop, 1 touchdown. That's the on reads. Anaya Smith, and this guy here has been a phenomenal playmaker for this team this entire year. 7 touches, 36 yards, 5.1 yards a pop, 1 touchdown. Watermeyer receiving, 8 for 89, 11-yard average, 2 touchdowns. One came off of that tip ball, but hey, that ain't our fault. It landed into the right man's hands, which is Watermeyer, and boom, there we go, baby. If you guys seen Kellen Mond's face, man, Kellen Mond was like, no. Oh, my goodness, thank you. Oh, man, he shook his head like, golly. But hey, Kellen Mond puts a lot of pressure on himself and as well as us, you know. But it is what it is. Got the job done. Anaya Smith, 4 for 62. That throw, Kellen Mond put in Anaya Smith's hands. See, those are the throws that kills a lot of us because we be like, God damn, man, he can throw the ball. Why don't you do that every game? But that's Kellen. You guys know, man, that's Kellen by now. So that's why a lot of you guys love him. A lot of you guys hate him. Love it. A lot of you guys have a love and a hate relationship with him. You know, to be honest. Let's just be honest. A lot of you guys have that. Anywho, Chase Lane, 2 for 21, make that big third down conversion. That guy there is a threat on third down. That's what I've noticed. That's what he's come into, a third down threat. All right. Isaiah Spiller, 2 catches, 10 yards. I know Isaiah puts a lot of heat on himself because that pass he dropped. Whoo, if he would have caught that ball. But then again, if Kellen Mond would have saw Chase Lane down the field and he would have hit him, that man, we would have been up. All I'm saying is that this game should have been like a 45-20 ball game. Devin A-Chain 1 for 3. All right, pretty good. Tackles, Miles Jones 8 tackles. Leon O'Neal 5 tackles, 3 assisted. And if you guys didn't see Leon O'Neal, man, Leon O'Neal was in the backfield for most of that game getting to those guys. It's just the thing about it was that Bo Nix was supposed to be sacked a couple of times. He just kept on eluding it. That young man kept on getting out the sack. Kept on getting out of it. Kept on getting out of him. Like, God damn. But right there, you just can't get to him. That's why he was rated as a 5-star QB coming from out of high school because of things like that, man. He's a mobile QB magician at times, you know, and it'll make you scratch your head like, golly. So, I mean, hey, it is what it is. The entire defense, for that matter, played really, really good. Punting the ball. Our punter is one of the more underrated punters in the entire college football. And I say that only because it ain't a lot of guys punting this year, of course. But he's one of the more underrated punters. But that's all I have for stats wise. No, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me go back in here. First downs, we had 29. All right. 7 out of 11 third down conversions. Getting back to it. Total plays 70. Auburn total plays 54. 54. You know what third down efficiency Auburn was? 4 out of 10. When I tell you that defense stepped up, that defense really, really stepped up when it mattered. I know defense looked like they was out of position for most of that ball game, but they stepped up when it mattered, man. They stepped up and they made well on when they stepped up. You know, so a lot of us has to give those guys credit for that, man. But anywho, man, it was a pretty good ball game to me. It was a dominating ball game to me. And we just have to continue to get better. But as of right now, Texas A&M is 7-1. We'll get prepared for Ole Miss, which is next Saturday. Hopefully that game doesn't get postponed. I saw something about the game may get postponed. So we will continue to watch and see how this goes. But it shouldn't, man. We're getting to that back half of the season. This is what I meant by you have to have the roster to compete with the back half of your season, which is the next half. You got to have the roster for it. A lot of guys will get banged up, things of that nature. And if you don't have guys to replace those guys, to at least give those guys the full amount of rest that is needed for their bodies, which is the starters, then you're going to kind of ultimately crumble in the end, you know, and that's what we seen a lot when we were up under Kevin Sumlin. You know, just a lot of guys kept on getting banged up around that time, man, and he didn't have the roster for it. Nor did we kind of have the toughness, you know, not trying to take anything away from Kevin Sumlin and what he did, but the roster was not tough, okay? So now we have the roster to compete year in, year out, all around, all right? So that's it. That's all I have for you guys. Once again, man, I thank you guys once again for coming on here. Right now, like I say, I'm at about 328 subscribers. We got a long way to go. But I believe we can get there. You know, of course, I knew that it was going to take time and things of that nature. So I thank you guys for believing in me and staying here with me, okay? So once again, shout out to everybody for coming on here. I love you guys. I love you. I will be back tomorrow to talk a little bit about Ole Miss, you know, give you like the pre-game rundown, you know, things of that nature. And we'll be discussing a whole lot of things, man. I thank you guys once again. The show is being sponsored by Dopeness Styles and King's Beard Grooming Company. Once again, shout out to all of you guys, and I love you guys. I love you. I love you. I love you. This is the Homemade Podcast of Sports with your host, Jay Pops. #GigaMaggots.
And thank you guys for tuning in to the #Homemade Podcast Sports. Please, guys, subscribe to the YouTube page and also follow me on Twitter @JPops. On Instagram @JPops, and also on Facebook at #Homemade Podcast Sports. Thank you guys once again. #GigaMaggots.